Good morning. Welcome to Yoga with Tina. We are doing hips today. Hips are so important. They are the intersection between the top hard portion of our body and the lower portion of our body. So if you have issues with knees or limitations with your knees, I should say, or if you even have some limitations in your lower spine, maybe take a look at the hips. So our hips need to stay flexible, mobile, strong, to be able to support the whole lower body and to support the upper portion of our body. So really think about that. The other thing about hips, I mean, this might be a little bit woo-hoo for you, and that's okay. Just be open to it for a second. When we have unresolved trauma, unresolved pain, sadness, our feelings sometimes end up sinking right there in our hips. So it's so good to move them, to move that trauma and feelings and the stress out of it. So just my little bit of yoga woo-woo might be uncomfortable for you, but that's okay. We are meant to be comfortable all the time. Okay, so join me in a cross-legged seated posture, whatever feels good to you. Just to start sinking in, disconnect. I know you've only been up for a short amount of time. That doesn't mean we aren't overthinking in the middle of the night. You have weird dreams? That's where I work some of my stuff out. So find those sit bones connected with the earth. Find that alignment. So super important when we are getting to the portion where we're warming up our neck and our shoulders to really maintain the posture to protect as we're warming up. But for now, just find length in the spine. Top of the head release towards the sky. Maybe draw the chin slightly towards the chest. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. And then draw the shoulders over the hips. Hands can be face down to really start the morning grounded. Or if you're ready to start receiving the energy that you're helping to create, start drawing the palms up. Your choice. Really start checking in with the physical body, scanning, noticing where you might be holding some tension. Noticing also what might feel really good this morning. So just being mindful, no judgment. Feel the cool air coming in through the nose, let it feel soft on your skin. Notice where your breath is this morning. And just by noticing, I hope that it's starting to slow down. Allow the mind and the body to be still. Continuing to feel the grounded feeling of the body connected with the earth, but also the length in the spine and the release. That's our root to rise. If your palms are up, see if you can start to feel the vibration of the body in the palms of the hands. Maybe even in the soles of the feet. Keeping the lips closed, bring separation between the top and bottom teeth, and release the tongue from the top of the mouth. Notice how that washes this beautiful relaxed feeling over the face, and allow it to translate through the body. Five deep inhales through the nose, long, slow exhales to release. See if you can slow it down to a count of 6. Start slow, start small, and then see if each inhale you can lengthen, each exhale you can lengthen. Maybe even holding at the top and the bottom. Follow your breath. Keeping the alignment, keeping the jaw soft. Draw that belly button in towards the backbone to expel any stale or leftover air. One more deep breath in through the nose. Make this your longest inhale. Holding at the top. Exhaling, releasing, slowly draining the breath. Draining from the chest, the ribs. Draw the belly button in towards the backbone, holding at the bottom. And then allow the body to release to a neutral breath. Finding and checking in with that alignment, so shoulders stacked over hips, ears over shoulders. Maybe start drawing the shoulder blades together. So really starting our warm-ups with great alignment. And then start drawing the chin towards the chest. Slowly on the next inhale, lifting, looking up towards the sky. So if you have tension, stress held in the neck, a few of these little warm-ups are great for just warming the neck up for the day. Before we start hunching over our tablets, computers, phones, slowly just flowing with the breath. Exhaling, draw that chin towards the chest. Inhale, looking up towards the sky. And then drawing that everything towards neutral. Planting the fingertips on the outside of the hips, and then just looking over the right shoulder, flowing with your breath, looking towards the left. Follow your breath. One more time. And then draw the head to neutral, right ear to right shoulder. Really sink the shoulders away from the ears here. Draw those shoulder blades together. And then plant the right hand, sweeping the left arm up and over. So feeling the stretch from the fingertip all the way down to the base of the hip. Return to neutral. Left ear to left shoulder. And then planting the left hand, sweeping the right arm up and over. On the next inhale, sweep both arms up and over. And then planting the fingertips right in front, walking the hands away, but keeping the sit bones connected. So it may not feel like much of a fold, that's okay. So walking the fingertips away, planting the palms wherever they are, and then peeling the right arm up and over, starting to wake up the spine. Shoulder is released. So really think about, as this right shoulder comes up, start to sink it away. Slowly on the next exhale, switching sides, plant the right palm, release the left up and over. And release, walking the hands back towards the body, chin to the chest, start to roll the spine. And then bring the fingertips right underneath the knees and start sinking the torso back. So a little bit, kind of, sort of like the seated cat-cow. So the chin is released and the spine is curved as if we're in cat pose. And then release the fingertips behind, opening up the chest and heart space, looking towards the sky, and then just starting to flow with the breath. Exhale for rounding. Inhale for expanding. One more time. Inhale. And then release. So really, since we're working on hips today, we want to make sure everything's nice and warmed up. So just holding, doesn't matter which side you do, one foot in the knee and just rocking the leg back and forth, side to side. Still keeping that alignment. I just noticed that I was sinking back. So still fighting those sit bones connected and rocking it side to side. And then as you feel like your leg is warming up, you can start drawing it closer towards the chest. So we'll be doing reclined pigeon today instead of the full expression. And this is just another way to do it. So if you don't feel good, recline, drawing the leg close to the chest, just come right back to the seated pose. And then making sure that you switch sides. So when you visit when we're allowed to visit, when it feels comfortable to visit yoga studios, sometimes I've noticed that the warm-up is skipped often. I just encourage you to get there a few minutes early, really warm up your own body. Make sure that you are honoring your space so that you're not injuring. There shouldn't be injuries in yoga. Shouldn't be. Sometimes there are. And then slowly release. Draw the knees underneath the body, coming into tabletop. And then really check in with tabletop. So the fingers are spread wide. Shoulders over wrists. Nice long spine. So if you have a neutral spine, there's a natural curve in our spine. So we want to draw it to neutral. So we're almost like tucking the tailbone under just slightly. Hips are over knees, eyes towards the mat. And then really think about lengthening. So lengthening tailbone to the top of the spine. Draw the belly button in towards the backbone to support. And then draw the knees towards the long edge of the mat. Big toes come to meet, sinking the hips. And walking the hands away. If it does not feel good to sink the hips, you can invite a pillow underneath or even a block. Walking those hands away, engage the arms first, and then on the exhale, soften. So extended child's pose. Take 3 more deep breaths here. On the third exhale, start walking the hands back towards the body. Draw the knees right back to our tabletop. Turning the toes under, and then just lifting the knees up. So really engage that core. So this is a different version of a floating table or a hovering table. Fingertips are pressed. Shoulders released. Core stays engaged. And then release softly down, tops of the feet connected, maybe rocking just side to side and forward and back. Fingertips are pressed into the mat. Turn the toes under one more time. Engage the core, just lifting the knees up. Keeping the jaw soft so that we are allowing the breath to flow. Release the knees, tops of the feet connected, rocking side to side. And forward and back. Maybe small little circles in one direction and the other. Turn the toes under, lifting just the knees. Engage the core. Soften the jaw, continue to breathe. And release. Knees come together, hips release, arms extended, child's pose. Take 3 breaths here. After the third exhale, start walking the hands towards the body, but bring the hands off to the left-hand side of the mat, stepping the right foot forward. So we have both hands on the instep of the foot, bending into that right knee, coming into our lizard pose. So this has a lot of modifications to it. Really check in with the body to see where you want to go today. So we can stop right here, so that my right knee is over the right ankle, and you're always trying to square the hips off, okay? So both hands are on the inside of the foot. My right knee, or my left knee is down, so you can stay right here. You can deepen this stretch by heel-toe walking the right foot away and starting to come to forearms. Forearms all the way to the mat, or forearms to the block. So it just is another variation to deepen the stretch. Only you know how far to go. So listen to where your body is what your body's asking for. To deepen this pose even more, you can turn the left toes under, power up, and then start sinking towards the forearms. So use your modifications where they are. But always, it's okay to stop right where you are. So if you feel a stretch through the hip flexor, through the hips, take 1 more breath where you choose to be today. And then turning the left toes under, powering up, dial that left foot down. So I mentioned this is where you can either walk the hands up, coming into our warrior two, or you can dial this left foot down and engage the core, and then drawing the left arm up and over. It just is a little bit more powerful, wherever you are today. So bending into the right knee stacked over right ankle. So the right heel should intersect the mid portion of the left foot. Left toes pointed towards the long edge of the mat. Lots of cueing for warrior two. So shoulder blades together, arms floating parallel with the floor. Engage the arms. Fingertips are energized. Looking out over the right fingertips. Take a break. It's a lot of talking. Take a breath. Exhale, come back into the pose. And then sending the left fingertips down the left leg, sweep the right arm up for peaceful warrior. On the next exhale, draw the right forearm to the top of the right thigh. Sweep the left arm up and over. Depending on where you are, you can also bring that right fingertip to a block. Really just a long line from the left fingertips all the way to the edge of the left foot. And then coming through warrior two, taking a moment, hands to the hips, and release. Draw the toes kind of at a diagonal here. So with the feet at a diagonal, you're wanting your knees to track the direction of the toes. We're coming into our goddess pose. So as the knees bend, adjust the feet so that the knees are tracking naturally. We want the body to be in between two panes of glass. So really avoid sending the hips back here. We're sending the hips straight down. So I'll come this way so you can see. So the toes are at a parallel. My knees are going to track. That is if I don't fall. The knees are going to track the direction of the feet. And the torso sinks. The hips sink. Engage that core, protecting that lower spine. It's a strong pose. So always invite the body to flow. So if you need a moment, just come back to standing. And then sink again. Join us where you are. If you want to challenge a little bit more, then you can invite the arms into a goal post. It's a strong pose, right? And then sinking the hips down, engaging the arms, and lifting the legs. One more time, sink, engage that core, soften the jaw, continue the breath, palms facing out, and then release, kind of shake it out. Sending the left foot to the back of the mat, and then adjusting the right. So warrior two is a really wide stance. So I have my left toes pointed towards the back of the mat, right toes pointed towards the long edge, bending into the left knee. Whew. Squaring those hips, float the arms, eyes towards the left fingertips, shoulder blades together, sending the right hand down the right leg, sweep the left arm up and over. Coming into side angle, left forearm to the top of the left leg, sweeping the right arm up and over. And then kind of reversing the motion. So pivoting on the right foot, dial the right arm down, bring both hands to the instep, lower the right leg down gently. Nothing happens fast today. So left foot is kind of moved to the left side of the mat. I have my hands planted on the instep. My right knee is down. So find where your body wants to go today, whether it's coming to forearms to the block, heel toe walk that left foot away to give yourself more space. Continue to breathe, shoulders are released. And then bringing the body back up, so palms are planted. Turn the right toes under, power up the right leg. Dial that right leg down. And then either power up the arms or walk the hands up. Core stays engaged. And then release. Turn both toes towards the long edge of the mat. Take a moment to reset, bringing the hips into alignment, so keeping the hips square, always meaning the hip bones in the front of the body, not the hips. Engage the core, soften the shoulders, and then sending the hips back this time. So with goddess pose, we lowered the hips down. This time we're sending the hips back, stopping halfway. So start checking in with yourself here. Maybe your block is at the highest setting, and you continue to send the hips back and just use the block at the highest setting as your base. Perhaps you heel toe walk the feet a little bit further apart and start reaching towards the floor. So wherever you are, if you're at the block or at the floor, start planting the hands in front. Plant the left hand, reaching the right arm up and over. Try really hard to keep the hips square. So naturally, when I open, my body wants to bring in a twist. Just see how it feels to keep the hips neutral here. And then release the right hand down, switching sides. Release the left arm up and over. Core stays engaged. And release. Walking the hands, either bringing the hands back to the block, stable, or if you desire a deeper stretch, walking the hands through the legs and behind. Take just a couple of breaths here. And then slowly start walking the hands back to neutral. If you walked the feet away from the body, start bringing them a little bit closer. Toes are still pointed towards the long edge of the mat. Walk the hands up. Find the hands near the hips. Stopping halfway. Nice long back, long spine. Shoulders released. And then coming all the way to standing. Turn the body into the right side. Pivot the right foot, and then bring the left foot with it. So we've got left toes connected, left heel is lifted, and then step to the front of the mat and shake it out. So take just a moment to reset the body in mountain pose. Engage the core, engage the legs, the glutes, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. 2 more breaths here. And then hands to the hips, sending the hips back, coming into our chair pose. Engage the arms to deepen the pose. So drawing the arms next to the ears and release. So working a little bit with the balance, but also working with a balancing chair pose. So you'll either stay right in chair pose, your choice, or shifting the weight into the left foot and then start playing with the idea of crossing right over left. If you're by a wall, by all means, use the wall. The wall, a chair, your block, all of it can be props. So here's where we're going. We're going to sink the hips, hands at heart center. Great stretch on the right hip here. So if that's, if you're saying crazy things about me right now, you can also just use that block and sink the hips this way. It's not as deep of a stretch, but you're still like working with the balance portion of this pose. So I'm crossing my right ankle over the left. Find a drishti or a focal point, sinking the hips back. The more you bend into the left knee, the deeper the stretch is on the right hip. Core stays engaged. On the next exhale, come back to standing. Plant the right foot on the outside, so just crossing the leg over. And forward fold. Find those fingertips either to a block or to the earth. Nose towards the knee. Deep inhales and exhales. On the next exhale, round the spine, coming all the way up, stepping the feet back to neutral, sending the hips back, chair pose. And release. Setting up for the other side, shifting the weight into the right foot. Make your modifications. Hands at heart center, sinking the hips, balancing chair. If you are staying in chair pose and you still want to challenge a little differently, you can also do the chair twist. We did that last week. Slowly come back up to standing, crossing right, left foot over right, sending the hips back. Forward fold, fingertips towards the earth to a block, nose towards the knee. Release the jaw. On the next exhale, roll the spine all the way up, stepping into mountain pose, and then coming up to tiptoes. So getting ready to do fire toes. That's where we're up on the toes and slowly lower, remaining on the toes. So really take your time with this. Come all the way up to tiptoes. If that doesn't feel good, we're going right down, almost not into a yogi squat, but we'll be lowering the body, coming into plank pose, okay? So coming up on tiptoes, engage the whole body. Arms are engaged, core, glutes, legs. Jaw stays soft, you gotta breathe. On the next exhale, we're slowly lowering. So as we're lowering, this is like an elevator, again. You may feel that drop zone. So be gentle and careful, coming all the way down. Nice and slow. Plant the hands, stepping right leg back, left to meet, high plank. Invite the low plank. So bring the shoulders over the wrists. Engage the core. Soften that jaw. Pressing into the heels. One more deep breath. Slowly lower. So shifting onto the top of the toes, slowly lower. Bending the elbows, stop halfway. Sweeping into up dog or cobra. So if you released to the knees, I'm just going to take a break because I'm talking, losing my breath. So if you lowered in assisted plank, then you would stay right there in cobra. Cobra, the elbows are slightly bent. The knees are released. For up dog, the knees are lifted, arms are straight. You're stacking shoulders over wrists. One more breath. And then slowly release. One hand on top of the other. Forehead release to the top of the hand. Windshield wiper back and forth. So bending the knees and releasing any tension from that lower spine. And since we're doing hips, I'll start with the left side. I always like to start with the right side. So if you feel like it, go ahead and you start with the right side. But we're going to do a really modified frog pose here. So both hips are planted, and then draw that left knee, bend the left knee and draw it coming right out of the left side of the hip. Flexing the left foot. With each exhale, soften that left hip down. And then slowly return the leg back to neutral, switching sides. So bending the knee, bending the foot. Whatever leg you're working on, try to release that hip down towards the earth. And then slowly on the next exhale, return the leg back to neutral. Planting the hands right next to the chest, tuck the elbows into the side, lifting into cobra. So elbows are bent, shoulders released, Eyes are forward. Engage the glutes and the legs. Fingertips pressed into the mat. And slowly release. We're doing this 2 more times. Inhale, lift. And release. One more time, inhale, lift. Continue to flow the breath. And release. One hand on top of the other, forehead to the top of the hand, bending the knees, windshield wipering back and forth. And releasing the legs. Draw the hands next to the chest one last time and press the earth away, coming into child's pose. Take 5 deep breaths in child's pose. I always keep the knees together after doing the prone back bends because it feels the release of the lower spine with the knees together feels really good to me. So your choice. Also, you could invite a puppy pose here. Stacking the hips over the knees, but keeping the hips released. And then slowly on your next exhale, curl the spine. I always drag the fingers just to really stretch out the spine here just a little bit more, coming all the way back up to a seated posture. So release the legs out in front. Bottoms of the feet together. Knees are released to the long edge of the mat. Draw the closer the heels are drawn into the hips, the deeper the hip stretch. So find the alignment first, stacking ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and then slowly hinging at the hips. And release chin to the chest, roll all the way up. Your choice, either easy seated, just crisscross, or invite the half lotus. Engage the core, nice long spine, taking the left hand to the outside of the right knee, and twist. With each inhale, we lengthen. Each exhale, we twist a little deeper. And release. Switching sides, twisting towards the left. Make sure you can feel those sit bones. And come back to neutral, releasing all the way down. If you love the extra core work, I invite you to come all the way down to the mat. So you can keep the toes connected. We'll do a modified boat pose, or you can slowly extend the legs out, extend the arms as you are starting to lower the whole body down. So core stays nice and engaged. And then release. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a hug and a kind word. Rocking side to side, massaging that lower spine. Maybe making circles in one direction and the other. Bottoms of the feet together here. So an inclined butterfly, releasing the knees to the long edge of the mat, and then pressing that lower spine into the mat. Notice like your neutral spine, how it curves and the tailbone is lifted. And then engaging the core and releasing that lower spine to the mat. So releasing any curvature. Just notice how that shifts and changes the pose. And then planting the left foot. Knee is bent, crossing the right leg. So really just modifying or mirroring what we did in our balancing chair pose. So crossing right ankle over the left, and then start drawing that left leg in towards the body. The right elbow there's a leverage. So you're using that right elbow as leverage to release the hip. So as I'm drawing the leg in, I'm pressing the right elbow into the thigh to stretch and release that hip. Then you can deepen the stretch by lengthening the left leg, flexing the left foot, draw the leg closer in towards the body. And then releasing the left leg down, crossing right over left. Open the arms up into a T, deep spinal twist. So you can stay right at neutral and just release the knees. But if you want an even deeper twist, then lift the hips up. Take the left hip to the right side of the mat and then twist. Oh, that one worked on my spine. It's like a little adjustment. And then releasing both shoulders to the mat, looking out over the right side. One more deep breath. On the exhale, coming back to neutral, reset the hips and the spine, the shoulders, left ankle crossed over the right knee, draw the right leg in, and then coming into your figure four. Pressing the lower spine into the mat. If you can hear my cat meow meowing outside the door, she's totally fine. I'll let her in at the end. Promise. And then release. Crossing left leg over the right. Open the arms up into a T. If you are looking for that deep twist, lift the hips and then the right hip towards the left-hand side. Release the knees to the right, looking out over the left. And then slowly unwind. Bringing the spine back to neutral, resetting the hips and the shoulders, draw those knees in one last time, hug them in. So inviting any last inversions, spinal twists, maybe happy baby, or if you are ready to start setting up for Shavasana, you can always bring legs up the wall, flexing the feet, bring the fingertips underneath the hips, engage the core, so a little tiny bit more core work, slowly lowering the legs, keeping that core engaged. As the heels connect with the mat, start releasing the body down. So releasing and softening. Releasing the feet to the long edge of the mat. Soften the shoulders, releasing the arms, palms facing up. And then maybe draw the chin towards the chest just slightly, making small adjustments so that you can feel the disconnect from the movement, inviting the body into stillness. Feeling the vibration of the body in the soles of the feet, softening the tops of the feet. Release each toe one at a time. Releasing any tension from the legs, soften and release the hips. Release any tension from the stomach. Release the lower spine, the upper spine, pressing the shoulders and the shoulder blades into the earth, and then soften and relieve. Releasing the chest and heart space. Lowering the shoulders away from the ears. Releasing any tension from the arms, feeling the backs of the hands connected with the earth. Feel the palms of the hands. Release each finger one at a time. Release any tension from the neck, soften the jaw. With the lips closed, keep separation between the top and bottom teeth. Release the tongue from the top of the mouth. Release any tension from the cheeks, the ears, the nose. Soften the eyes and the forehead. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. On the exhale, release, washing over the body and through the bottoms of the feet. For just a few moments, I'll let you rest, and then you'll hear my voice again. As you start to hear the sound of my voice, start bringing awareness back to your space. Noticing the stillness, feeling the cool air come in through the nose, let it feel soft on your skin. Inviting small movement to the fingers and toes, maybe taking a stretch overhead. As you feel ready, slowly rolling to one side, keeping the eyes closed. Maybe drawing the knees in, allowing the body to continue to rest. Maybe drawing gratitude in for the physical body, for the mental body, gratitude for the spirit that is you. Embracing all the fabulous, quirky things that set you apart. Probably all the things that we fought as we were growing up. But I invite you to give gratitude and praise for those things. Those are your authentic, vulnerable pieces that make you so uniquely and perfectly and beautifully you. Because you are beautifully and perfectly made, both masterpiece and a work in progress. Both and. Invite them both in. As you feel ready, slowly release from your bliss and join me in a seated posture, finding your grounded feeling one last time before we enter the day. Welcome the easy seat, find the sit bones connected, lengthen the spine, top of the head release towards the sky, chin towards the chest, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and then bring the fingertips towards the earth. Notice how the body feels held, supported, grounded. And then as you feel ready, slowly open the arms up wide, collect this beautiful energy you help create into the palms of your hands. Exhaling to heart center, thumbs to the heart to remind us we are never alone. We are all connected by no mistake. May you be safe. May you be well. May you be at ease. And may you know peace. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you.